my loves, and welcome back to a new video. My name is Jade Shinya and I help people reclaim back their power physically, mentally and spiritually. Now today I'm going to be talking about how to activate your dark feminine energy and how to truly embody the archetype of the dark feminine goddess energy. Now, just as with light feminine energy, dark feminine energy is just as equally important because it's all about being whole, remember? So whenever you need to be in alignment, it's all about balancing your dark and light within yourself perfectly. So this isn't about referring to you being cold or evil or cruel. Dark feminine energy doesn't mean that. Dark feminine energy is not negative, it's positive. So dark feminine energy is not about manipulating people, it's not about being cold-hearted, heartless. That all stems from the wounded feminine. So it's very important to make that clear because a lot of people get dark feminine energy, the idea of it, very incorrect. They just think it's about going around being a bitch because you got heartbroken or betrayed or whatever. It's not about that. It's really truly about knowing your worth, being confident and being empowered and taking action upon that and embodying that energy, that frequency within you. So it's not about just being petty and immature or being stuck within that wounded, traumatic state of vibration, because that is not an empowered state. Very important to know that, because when you are in that state of, you know, wanting to do those things, that is not empowerment. That is still being in a wounded, powerless state of vibration, state of energy. Because a woman that's truly strong in her divine, dark, feminine energy doesn't bother, doesn't need to hex people, manipulate people. She don't give a shit because that is all putting other people on a pedestal. It's all about receiving, because feminine energy naturally, when in harmony, receives effortlessly. When you're truly in your power, you don't have to chase shit. You attract things to you. This is why it's very important to have that discernment and to distinguish between toxic, wounded femininity and genuine dark feminine energy. Because the dark feminine energy is like the phoenix rising. It's about turning that pain into power. It really is, you know, the wise oracle, you know, witch woman who knows how to be an alchemist, who really steps into her power, who transmutes all that pain, anger, rage into something productive. She breaks through that fucking bullshit wall that sabotages her, that keeps her suppressed, that keeps her hurt. It's really about breaking through all those things, traumas, betrayals, whatever it is, and finding peace, finding self-respect, finding yourself essentially, and not allowing other people to ruin that for you. Not, you know, having that discernment and recognizing red flags within people, situations, or whatever it is, and honoring yourself, being in tune with your intuition, knowing yourself. So in this video, I'm going to give you a few steps on how you can activate your own dark feminine energy in order to manifest better, in order to feel more self-love, self-respect, more confidence, more empowerment, less fear, so you can really put yourself out there, so you can really protect yourself from dark people, toxic people as well, and really step into that energy of, you know, power, but in a positive way, not a fake way from the ego or a narcissistic way. Because remember, any sense of power that stems from your ego or narcissism isn't genuine. Because remember, the ego is very fragile. So that's not true empowerment. You know, if you can just burst someone's bubble very quickly like that and they get triggered or react to it, that's not coming from a place of empowerment. That's coming from a place of insecurity. So the dark feminine doesn't get triggered with bullshit like that. It's all about knowing who you are, giving yourself validation, and this will keep you in a more calm, empowered state of being. You know, the dark feminine energy is very elegant, very classy. It's about being mature. It's about having emotional intelligence, innate wisdom, being in tune with herself, not allowing people to disturb her peace, not allowing people to take advantage of her, to devalue her, to use her, to suck her energy, to break her spirit, her soul. It's all about boundaries. It's all about self-respect. It's all about self-care, but not from a selfish perspective, from a place that's necessary. Because too many times, especially female empaths, we're too giving, we're too kind, we lower our standards, we lower our boundaries, and then time and time again we get stepped on, abused, betrayed, heartbroken, because we're too giving, we're too forgiving, So it's all about doing what it takes to protect yourself. It's about doing what it takes to heal yourself, to get back that empowerment again, but not in a cold, egotistical way, but in a way that is necessary, in a way that is divine, not from a petty space or still from a wounded space. It's genuine, it's raw, and it's actually real. It's not a facade. You know, the dark feminine energy is all about knowing your worth. It's not about allowing people to take advantage of you. It's not about allowing people to use you, betray you. It's really allowing and stepping into that power of knowing when to walk away, not staying somewhere out of fear. It's not giving into your fears. It's about facing your fears so you can truly find that space of absolute confidence and absolute freedom. You know, it gives you freedom from the own cage of your own traumas and people's betrayals and bullshit that they have put into you. It's about cutting those strings. The dark feminine energy can't be manipulated. It can't be tricked. It can't be, you know, played with, emotionally abused. It's about recognizing those things and stepping away from it. It's about having enough confidence, self-worth, self-value to recognize any form of abuse from partners, from parents, from friends, from anyone in your life, and knowing, fuck this, I'm walking away because you're disrespecting me, you're not being loving, So it's about having that strength within you, because time and time again, if you don't do that, you will be the one who suffers for it. You will be the one who gets heartbroken. You will be the one who basically has their life destroyed, and then you have to heal yourself on your own all over again. So this is what the dark feminine is about. It's about protecting you from that. So that goes hand in hand with the first step. And the first step is basically to stop being a people pleaser, to stop being too nice to people who don't deserve it. So this step is all about really not fearing conflict, not fearing being on your own, not being independent. Like, you must walk away from people who are abusive towards you, who don't value you, who don't see your worth, who gaslight you, who lie to you, who cheat on you, who do anything that is dark and abusive towards you. You must walk away from that, because the karma that you get being someone who keeps being too nice, too loving, too forgiving to a toxic person is pain. Because if you're too nice to someone and they're abusing you, you will get karma for it, but not in the way that you think. You will just keep getting hurt by them again and again and again, because the universe is telling you, look, you are being too nice to this person. Because if you're accommodating to someone who is not treating you right, they're never going to learn. So this is why the universe does this, is because it's teaching you, again, self-respect as well. So it's like, look, you can't keep giving. You can't keep letting a toxic person walk all over you. You can't people please with them just to keep the peace, or just because you love them or whatever. It doesn't matter. If anyone is bringing you down and causing you extreme pain, extreme suffering, and even if you're screaming, crying, and you're doing everything you can to try and communicate and express to a certain someone that they are literally destroying you or hurting you or whatever, and they don't give a damn, walk the fuck away. Because it doesn't matter how loving you are to someone, how supportive you are, how forgiving, how patient. If you are doing that to someone who is a narcissist, toxic, stuck in their own demons, refusing to heal, you always end up being the one who pays for it. You will always be the one who receives bullshit and pain and agony and heartbreak and betrayal. Trust me. So the best thing you can do for yourself and the other person is walk the fuck away, because everyone has to be accountable for their own inner demons in this game. So in this earth realm, in this matrix, everyone is responsible for themselves, and you cannot force someone to see the truth if they are stuck in their ego or narcissistic or whatever the case. They have to be responsible to see it for themselves. And it doesn't matter if you're spitting them utmost truths, you show them evidence, whatever it is. And this isn't just relationships, this is parents, family, friends, you know, whoever is being toxic in your life. You must know when you have to walk away, when you have to protect yourself. Because too many times, empathic women, we give way too much energy to the wrong people. And then this makes us physically sick, mentally sick, spiritually drained. It destroys your whole life. And you'll see that, and you'll see how much energy you feel and how much better and calm and peaceful your life becomes when you stop giving your energy to toxic people. Then you will feel empowered, because it is impossible to feel empowered and to heal yourself and to manifest your own goals and dreams and whatever you want in your life if you're wasting it on energy vampires or toxic people or people who refuse just to heal. Because people who are just stuck in their own shadow and dramas and ego and inner demons who refuse to do their inner work, you can't help them. All you can do is guide, but if they're abusing it and exploiting you and attacking you in return, you must walk away. So people pleasing is a big no-no. The divine feminine does not deal with that shit. So it's all about being loving, but taking no shit at the same time. It's about being assertive, standing up for yourself, knowing this is bullshit and I need to walk away. So the divine feminine energy is all about the balance of light and dark. So you must be assertive. You have to have that self-respect, and people pleasing and self-respect do not exist in the same space. So in order to have true self-respect, you cannot be a people pleaser. You have to enforce healthy boundaries. And that doesn't mean about being a selfish bitch and just being like me, narcissistic. Because of course, give love and energy to people who need it and who appreciate you, who value you. Be as nurturing as you want to those sort of people. But you can't be like that to others who just feed off you like a parasite, or who exploit you for it. Who don't appreciate your presence. So remove your presence, and then one day they might appreciate you. But you always must have discernment, and don't ever allow a toxic person to manipulate you, to puppet you, and to play mind games onto you. If anyone makes you feel unloved, devalued, not respected, you know, consistently, and just drained of energy, walk away. Trust me. So number 2 obviously goes hand in hand with number 1, and that is to respect yourself with self-care. So when I say self-care, this basically means mind, body, and spirit. So the divine feminine is all about honoring oneself, honoring who you are, respecting your body, respecting your mind, respecting your spirit. So with the body, it's all about, you know, honoring your health. You know, do what it takes to eat majority, you know, a healthy diet. And this doesn't mean that you can never treat yourself. You know, I'm vegan, but sometimes I will have some vegan chocolate now and then, or a coffee or matcha or whatever. I mean, matcha isn't really bad, but you know what I mean. I always do the 80-20 rule. And at the minute, you know, I'm loving being in the gym. Get yourself in the gym. One of the most amazing ways to channel anger and feminine rage from betrayal trauma or any sort of heartbreak or whatever it is, when you feel ready to and have the energy to do so, channel it into some sort of physical exercise. Personally, I love lifting weights, and I'll do that because it's such a addictive pain. So it's a very good way for me to channel that rage into lifting something, into forcing myself to, you know, put my body through some sort of pain. And it's a very therapeutic way to channel that energy, and it grounds me. So, but of course, if you like running or yoga, or I mean, I adore yoga as well. I do that once a week, but that's more for my light feminine energy. because you have to have both in balance, like I'll explain more later. Otherwise you don't want to be too dark and you don't want to be too light, because you know, if you're overly light, that's when you can turn into being too submissive, codependency, people pleasing, like I was explaining earlier, because you're too giving. But then when you become too much in the dark feminine, you become too much of a taking energy. So it's all about having that equal give and take alignment, okay? So self-care, treat your body with respect, and that means eating right, exercising, also with your mind, meditate, read, do things that are good for the brain, do things that are healthy for the brain, do things that are healthy for your spirit. You know, have a routine in the morning or the evening, you know, go and do things that make you feel joy, go and do things that allow yourself to feel pleasure as well, but in a healthy way. So that doesn't mean, oh, getting wasted on the weekend. It doesn't mean being stoned 24/7. You know, all these things take away your chi. All these things feed off your energy and depletes you. So it's all about doing what it takes to give you energy, to make you feel nourished and thrive, and not to be depleted. So be careful who you surround yourself with. Self-care is about spiritual hygiene as well. So be very careful who you give your energy to, you know, friends-wise, romantic-wise. Be very protective of yourself. Be very cautious. But at the same time, you know, indulge in things that give you joy and pleasure. But always from a balanced way, always in a way that is in alignment. Because if we overindulge in something, like with food, of course, like anything that's bad for you, you know, that will deplete you. And that is powerlessness. You know, if you're giving yourself too much, if you're indulging too much in anything, it will make you turn into a space of disempowerment, not empowerment. And this is why self-care, genuine self-care, is fucking important, because this is what gives you power. You know, you're like a battery, and if you're just doing things that are taking mentally, spiritually and physically, you'll be depleted, you'll be running on empty. So it's about having that balance. So of course you can, you know, treat yourself now and then, but it's about having the maturity and the self-respect. Because a lot of the time when people want to indulge in like drinking alcohol or doing something that they know is toxic or bad for them, for example, it comes from a place of trauma. So this is where, you know, self-care towards your brain and your spirit is fucking important. So do things that address your inner demons, your inner childhood wounds. Go have therapy. Go seek someone that can help you. You know, I myself do one-to-one oracle card readings, you know, where I give people very in-depth and practical advice, guidance, and see what blockages you have and what the true catalyst is to your pain or blockages and suffering. So if you do want to book a one-to-one session with me, I always do link that down below in the description box. And I do have my spring sale on at the minute. So as a side note, but do what it takes to really indulge and prioritize self-care. Because if you let yourself go, you're always going to be stuck in a state of disempowerment, dis-ease, feeling like shit. So yeah, always prioritize self-care. So important. Number 3 goes hand in hand with number 2. And that's basically to turn your pain into power. So the true essence of the divine dark feminine energy is about being an alchemist. It's about being a phoenix rising from the ashes. You know, the true catalyst to a woman stepping into her dark feminine energy is always pain, betrayal, heartbreak. So it really is like the phoenix rising from the ashes type of energy. That is the archetype of the dark feminine energy. So it's knowing and learning her worth. It's such a beautiful, raw, powerful path that women will embark on. And when they do it right, it will completely change your life for the better, because you will never be the same again. You will never allow yourself to turn into the unhealed version of you. And you will never allow a man or person to make you turn into the unhealed version of you ever again. So really activating that alchemy within you. This is the path of the dark feminine, because she has taken all that was meant to destroy her and turned it into something fucking powerful. She's channeled it into something that's productive, that's making her a better woman, more powerful, when it would have broken her, when it did break her even. So it's really about putting yourself back together and then being that fucking powerful phoenix, being that woman who has faced and gone through hell and back. So the dark feminine energy, that's where it comes from. That's where it's created. You know, women who have literally been dragged through hell. And I know many of you fucking have, especially when it comes to heartbreak and grief and loss and abuse. It's really about breaking through that and turning into that powerful being of now light and empowerment, when you came from a space of the complete opposite. So you would have been someone who was on the floor crying your eyes out, who was even suicidally depressed, anxious, literally all the elements and energy of someone who is completely hopeless and disempowered, who wants to give up. Now, the dark feminine will pull you out of that. It will pull you into a space of the complete opposite, of being the victor, not a victim. So this is literally, the dark feminine is about stopping you being a victim, even if you have been victimized. So this isn't about victim shaming, blaming, sorry. Because of course your abuse and all the shit that you went through is real. But it's about pulling you out of that. It's about healing you, and you have the power to heal yourself. So when I say turn your pain into power, it means you can do it. You don't have to basically get closure from anyone. So if you're someone that wants an apology or closure from the people who hurt you, fuck that off. You don't need it. You are the only person that you need to really empower yourself, to really heal from all the pain and trauma and abuse that someone put you through. It doesn't matter what you've been through, you can come out on the other side, and it's your decision, it's your choice. So turning pain into power is about using your intent to choose that. And of course it takes time depending on what you've went through. So really bear that in mind, that this is not a quick fix. This is not something that will be, you know, achieved instantly. It takes time to heal wounds. It takes time to put your heart back together. It takes time to train your brain to actually want to be strong. And this is why it's so important to get out of toxic environments, to implement strong boundaries, like I was saying in the other steps, because it is physically, mentally, and spiritually impossible to heal yourself in the same place or around the same people that fucking broke you. It is impossible because the energy is not right. So you need to always have discernment and read the room and energy of people and things so you can make the right decisions and choices to put yourself back together. So number 4 is own your sexuality, but in a healthy way. So the dark feminine energy is very sultry, it's very seductive, it's very because it's about honoring yourself, it's about honoring your own worth, having that confidence, having that self-love. So this can look like obviously being seductive in the right places, the right environments, with the right people, and using that energy, that creative sexual energy, to manifest, to attract what you want, to bring in what you want, to make you feel good. It's about honoring your pleasure. It's about honoring your body. It's about allowing yourself to be connected to your own sexuality without shame, without guilt. Because too many times, especially as women, we get massively shamed for our bodies. We get overly sexualized. You know, men especially have too much of a pornographic mind. You know, men in the toxic sort of vibration, of course. So it's really about honoring your own worth, your own body in a positive way. And you don't have to look perfect externally. You know, this is really respecting yourself. This is remembering who the fuck you are as a real woman. Because real women, you know, we have portals between our legs to the spirit world. You know, the reason women were worshipped in ancient times and viewed as goddesses is because we literally have spiritual portals between our legs. You have a portal to God, to the spirit world within your womb. You literally can conjure spirits inside you to be birthed into this reality. Like, how crazy is that when you really, really think of it that way? So, you know, don't let the matrix and men and whatever, you know, toxic, low vibrational men put you in a small box. Don't allow toxic men to devalue you. Remember who the fuck you are. You are a fucking goddess. You are beautiful. You are deserving of love. You are deserving of respect. You know, get a man that actually shows you that. Who isn't afraid to express their love to you. Who isn't afraid to say that they want you. You know, honor yourself. Don't chase toxic people. Environments, you know, in sexual or romantic relationships. You know, owning your sexuality in a healthy way is very healing for women. It's very liberating. I do have a few videos on this already, so go check that out. So it's really about connecting to your inner, you know, tantric woman, your inner wild woman, not being like, oh, you have to be a little good girl. But at the same time, I'm not saying that, oh, go and be overly promiscuous, because that is disempowering. That is just as disempowering as being like the good girl and suppressing her sexuality. Again, you have to find that middle ground. You have to find that alignment. So it's not about being overly promiscuous and just, you know, being a hoe and craving male validation and just giving it to anyone. But at the same time, it's not about being too, not frigid, but like too disconnected from your sexual body. Viewing it as, you know, sex as dirty, shameful, being, not hating on your own body, you know, not honoring your own body. Because that all stems from a place of self-hatred as well. And that can manifest as, you know, even physical illness with some women. So again, it's about having that balanced ground of really honoring who you are as a woman, even connecting to your menstrual cycle, because that goes hand in hand with sexuality. I will be doing more videos on that because it's very important for women to be in tune with their cycle, to be in tune with the moon. You know, it's very empowering when a woman learns about her yoni blood, when she connects to that wild woman goddess energy, like what we used to do in ancient times. So go check out my video on menstrual blood and how magic that actually is. You know, connect to that. Practice the Om methods. Practice using your sexual energy to manifest, to create, but not for negative reasons. You know, do it more for like self-empowerment, abundance, self-love, healing, you know, whatever the case. Not, oh, to attract a toxic person into your life, for example. You know, do it for things that are empowering to you. That are beneficial for you. Look into tantric practices, look into Taoism, you know, find someone who you can possibly even experience that with. But you don't have to, you can do it on your own. You know, so many ways to honor your own body, to honor your own, you know, sexual energy. So really, really get rid of the shame, get rid of the guilt and empower yourself. Empower that sexual embodiment of, knowing what it truly means to be a woman unapologetically, and not allowing society to shame you, to make you feel like you're not good enough, or to make you feel dirty and shameful. Don't seek validation from men. The dark feminine energy knows that she's fucking powerful, confident, gorgeous, whatever the case. She knows that she is enough. And it doesn't matter if a man devalues her or doesn't want her or rejects her. It's all about staying in your lane, staying in that powerful energy, and knowing that if someone rejects you, then better is coming for you. So never take it personally, and always know that you, the more that you are in your own authentic, beautiful, powerful sexual energy, the more you're going to attract a partner on that level the same as you. So never chase something that you're lowering your standards for. Never allow anyone's rejection to dampen your self-esteem. The dark feminine energy is all about staying centered. It's all about knowing her worth. So don't seek validation. Don't chase toxic people for attention or for validation because you have a wounded inner child that constantly needs that, who craves that. You can do it on your own. You can validate yourself. Now, the last one is connecting to your spiritual guides. So basically activating your spiritual sides. So the dark feminine energy knows how powerful she is. She knows her own worth. She knows her own power. And now she has the confidence to listen to her intuition. Because if you don't have confidence in yourself, if you don't recognize your own power from a, humble state, of course, you will not trust yourself. You will not trust your intuition, your gut feelings. And then this can lead you to pain. This can lead you to making stupid decisions. This can lead you into toxic relationships, environments, whatever the case. So always, always, always listen to your gut because a spiritual woman cannot be lied to. And I've seen this time and time again in my own life. A woman who is connected to the spiritual world, who's activated her inner witch, her inner oracle, her inner goddess, whatever you want to label it as, she cannot be fooled. And because our intuition will be on fire. But you have to trust it. You have to activate it. So work on activating your third eye. I have an ebook for free, by the way, to give you all the steps that I done to truly open my third eye. So go check that out. Because women are naturally more spiritual than men, it's very beneficial for us. Remember, because with men, they have the advantage of being more physically strong. They're more grounded. They're more earthy. But with women, we're more in the ethers. We're more spiritual. So our superpower is our intuition. As with men, their superpowers are more physical strength and that sort of thing. And we both balance and, benefit each other when we're in healthy relationships, of course. This is why you have to get with a man who doesn't hate women, who isn't in his ego, who appreciates your wisdom, your guidance. Because a man in his divine masculine energy will want to protect you. He'll want to nurture you. He'll worship you. He'll love you. And not in a simpy way, but like he'll have the utmost respect for you. And the woman in return will give him so much love, so much nurturing, so much support. She'll give him guidance. And he'll listen and respect her. He'll be very patient with her and vice versa. So it's all about having that alignment of honoring each other's qualities, honoring each other's gifts. So this is why it's very important for you to be in your divine feminine energy, especially with your dark feminine energy. So you don't end up just being with a man-child. So you don't end up just being with someone who is very immature, someone who doesn't respect you, someone who takes your guidance and wisdom for granted, someone who sees it as just criticism because their ego isn't mature enough to be accountable for their mistakes and then to create positive change. This is what connecting to the spiritual world will help you with. It will help you with your relationships to others, to partners, but more so to yourself. Because there's only so much you can do on your own as a human. Even if you are, of course, a soul having a human experience, but in our human bodies, we are somewhat limited. So it's very important that we have that activation to spirit fully open. So your guides can step in and help you. And time again, I've seen it in my own life when I've gone through the worst pain and betrayal, and when I've literally been at rock bottom, wanting to give up, completely overburdened with immense pain and heartbreak. My guides have stepped in whenever I've needed them to. I've, even without me asking, as soon as I just surrender and close my eyes or meditate, or I do ask for help, they come in. And I feel their presence, I feel their energy. And another thing you can do is to connect to goddesses. Doing spell work that is positive will help you with this. Connecting to your cycle, connecting to the moon. Even dress how you dress. If you're someone who needs something to shift into that energy, wear more black, wear more things that have that sort of essence of dark femininity. you know, red lipstick, you know, whatever it is, making yourself up, doing cool eye makeup, you know, anything that helps you shift into that energy, you know, don't fear it. Because especially at the minute, I feel like 2023 is really about a lot of feminines at the minute are going through this Phoenix rising transition. And I've seen it so many times with my clients. I keep getting the Phoenix Rising card again and again and again. It's crazy. So, but it's not surprising because I felt it at the beginning of this year. So I'll leave it there, my loves. If you do want one-to-one guidance, then do click the link down below. And I will be more than happy to help you. And if you want to sign up to my Patreon, I do have my Goddess Coven Patreon, where I have exclusive videos that I don't post on YouTube, mainly about dark things and dark truths being exposed. So if you are interested in all of that, then go check that out. And in the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you don't miss my future uploads. Now, until next time, my loves, I'm sending you so much love, so much light. Ahimsa.